See for yourself.
That, of course, was Josh Hawley. He's a man with two modes. As you saw there, he's basically A-Train from the boys. He can really get a move on. He can break 88 miles per hour and go back to the 50s where he'd feel more comfortable with his whole personality and ideology and view of the world and everything. The other mode you might have seen is this mode. If we take a look at this picture, this is tough guy Josh Hawley. This is everyone break in and overthrow the government Josh. Oh no, not near me. Oh no. Everyone please break in and beat people to death. Oh, don't kill me. That's Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley is like most right wingers when it's an opportunity to flex before the camera or whatever. He's a big tough guy. He's your hero. He's your champion. But then once the inevitable end of his push for political violence happens and he starts to feel threatened, then as you saw in that January 6th committee footage, he's running away. Very understandable. By the way, I want to make fun of Josh Hawley, and Brett and I will, but let's bear in mind, he was right to be terrified. Honestly, as much as he's being mocked for what's in that video is honestly the thing that I think he's least deserving of mockery for. It's everything that came before, everything that came since, including things that came this morning. We'll give you a little bit of an update. It's the massive gap between the honest reaction he had on January 6th, which was fear that he would be torn limb from limb by an angry fascist mob. And then you contrast that with his, yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna pretend to think that the election was stolen. It totally wasn't, but I'm gonna pretend. This is the movement I'm in, Brett. It's frustrating.
Listen, there's a lot of wastes of government funds out there where they spend $1,000 on a hammer, a toilet, the Pentagon, whatever. But every dollar, like, can I double my taxes this year so we can get more of that? And for people who don't know Josh Hawley, he is the biggest tool spank. John has called him like someone who's trying to be like Ron DeSantis essentially, but is dumber. Like he is bad at all of the Trump toadying, but he's still on the way in is emboldening all of the people who are about to storm the Capitol. And once they do, he runs away. And most revealing and most specific about this is all the people who are just like Josh Hawley are the most protected people in America. They have rounds and rounds and different levels and levels of security around them. And they were absolutely terrified.
Yeah, 100%. And as people are noting in the chat, like he has protection in that he has the guards. He also has built-in protection, like a car in an old school movie releasing grease. He released a trail of yellow liquid as he ran that the mob would fall on if they tried to run over it. No, it's ridiculous. It is laughable. Now, bear in mind, in the end, we get to have some laughs, but I guess the last laugh is on us because it doesn't matter that he was revealed to be a total and utter hypocrite. Look what he tweeted this morning. Little kissy face. Look, I'm still strong. Kissy face. Yeah, no, I know. You showed that my big yeah move was total BS. And once they came in, I was running for my life. I didn't want to be murdered. but kissy face, still good. It doesn't matter because but think about what he's revealing in that. He knows that the people he's trying to appeal to have no chance of accurately, rationally ingesting information and coming out with a worldview that makes sense. He knows that that's not going to happen, and so he's not afraid of the truth being revealed.
So, John, what in your opinion is the percentage breakdown of people who see Josh Hawley and in Camp 1? Really believe, like you say, I don't believe that he actually ran. They're in their own delusion where they see Josh Hawley as a fierce champion of strong right-wingerism versus the other camp, which is like him, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, a handful of others. I know they're wuss bags, but they're on my side. So I'm still gonna vote because Trump's my leader. Josh Hawley, whatever, you're kowtowing to Trump. I'll let you be a wuss bag. But like, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that were you to force them at like a Trump rally to watch the footage, I think that many would probably come away with the latter position. I don't think that there's a ton who are in this movement because of Josh Hawley. He's a convenient person to have there. And if Trump ever says, replace him with someone who is on like America's Got Talent, then they'll do that. They won't care. I think the former group like might be larger, except that how many are even gonna see this? Like the right is not gonna be sharing this because the gatekeepers on the right in terms of politics and especially in terms of media have a stranglehold in their audience. So they're unlikely to even see this, but he knows. And by the way, also, like, I think he knows what the movement is. Like we've seen him now run, but he's known for a year and a half that he had to flee in terror from the people he'd been cheering on. And yet coming out of that experience, has he backed away from that movement at all? Has he tried to pump the brakes on that movement at all? Not at all, not one bit. He knows like what this group is capable, what this movement is capable of. Murderous violence. He has experienced it himself. And yet for his own political aspirations, he has to pretend to not get that, to have no problem with this group. And I wanna say one other thing. This whole situation, like I come out of this thinking less honestly about Josh Hawley than, and this will shock you, AOC. Because you'll recall that when she did an interview and she talked about what she felt on that day, that she was worried about being murdered, that she was worried about being raped, they all mocked her. They all laughed at her like, how could you have possibly been scared? You weren't scared. It's not just that you were wrong to be scared. You're lying about being scared. You're lying about fearing that this will be the last day of your life. And meanwhile, they're running for their lives. And they don't care. It's convenient to mock AOC for her fears, and it's convenient to ignore Josh Hawley for his. Both of them very justified in being terrified of being killed. People did die that day, and they didn't want to be part of that group. But then coming out of it, one reveals the truth and the other hides from it, and then laughs when it's finally revealed.
Right. You said I don't know what if it's going to matter. You're cynical or you're not very optimistic that it will matter. But when all that stuff happens, just remind yourself that the right wing spent 50 years messaging the same thing so they could finally get a Roe versus Wade overturned. Like you have to focus on your message, make sure it's the right one to get the right coalition, and just hammer at it. And that's why I like the January 6th hearings. They did what all they can do, which is, and it's kind of like when the Fed gives money to the bank then can create a bunch of money out of it. That's what this is doing. This is just giving raw materials to people so that they can keep messaging on their platforms, leverage that into being a bunch more content and media. And many versions of that are gonna be attack ads against Donald Trump. All the people, Mark Meadows, all the ones like Josh Hawley who freaked out that day. And you just have to keep the messaging offensive alive because you have the ammunition.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.